Good evening, one and all. The topic is about Angularjs data binding. Okay, we are going to discuss about two directives so related to data binding in Angularjs. And the directives are ng-bind and ng-demo directives. Okay, first of all, so what do you mean by data binding? So we all know that AngularJS follows model view controller architecture. Okay, so this is about model view architecture. So view means the part which is visible to the user. So in your web applications, so when you open any website, the part which is visible to the user is called view. Okay, model means, so we are going to discuss about database. Okay, controller means it sits between view and model. Okay, if any changes made in the view, then the data will be passed to the model using controller. Okay, I'm repeating again. So view means what is visible to the user. For example, you have opened your browser and opened a website. So what is the part which is visible to the user is called view. For example, you have opened your Facebook. It will ask you to enter username and password. You have entered your username and password, and then you have clicked submit button. Then your username and password will be moved to model using controller. So the controller will take care about data management in AngularJS applications. I mean model view architecture. Okay, controller sits between model and view, and it is responsible for flow of data between model and view. Okay, so let's go to AngularJS data binding. So see here, so AngularJS data binding is synchronization. Okay, AngularJS data binding means synchronization between view and model. Okay, we can also define like data synchronization between business logic and view of the AngularJS application. Okay, so in AngularJS, okay, data binding is an automatic process. In AngularJS, data binding is an automatic process. Okay, see here, when changes made to the view, then the changes reflects also in model and vice versa. If changes made in the model, then automatically those changes will be visible to view also. Okay, vice versa. So any changes in the view will update the model, and any changes in the model will update the view. Okay, so I already explained, you have opened your Facebook, you have entered your username and password, then after that you clicked on login button, then immediately the username and password will be moved to model using controller. Okay, and authentication will be done in model layer, and the home page will be sent to view using controller. Okay, so model view controller. So we are going to discuss about only how data is moving between model and view. That is what is called data binding. Okay, so AngularJS provides two directives for data binding. First one is ng-bind, second one is ng-model. So ng-bind means one-way data binding. So ng-model means two-way data binding. Okay, we will discuss about one-way data binding and two-way data binding in a couple of minutes. Okay, now the controller, that means controller means a JavaScript function, okay, constructor function which sits between model and view. Okay, the controller is responsible for the data management in AngularJS application. Okay, so we can create controllers in AngularJS application using directive called ng controller. Okay, so this is small letter, so like this. For example, see here, for example, I want to create a controller, then the code is look like this. So div ng app equal to, for example, my app ng controller equal to, for example, my controller name is my controller. Okay, so close the division tag. So you have to write your AngularJS code in this gap. Okay, right. So I'm removing this code. Now we will discuss about one-way data binding and two-way data binding. So first topic is about ng-bind. So why ng-bind is a one-way data binding? So why it is called one-way data binding? See here, I have written like model to view. That means unidirectional flow of data. So make sure that the data flows from model to view only. Okay, model to view only. See here, one-way data binding means the data is available in the model is retrieved and displayed in the view. So whatever data available in the model, if required, the view will access the model data using controller and display the model data on the screen. Okay, make sure using ngbind we can do only one-way data binding. Using ngbind we can do only one-way data binding. If you make any changes in the view, it will not be updated in the model part. So that's why ngbind is called one-way data binding. I'm repeating again. So one-way data binding means, so the data which is available in the model will be displayed in the view part of the website. Okay, view part of the website. If you make any changes in the view, it will not be updated in the model part. That means unidirectional flow of data. That's why I have written here model to view. See here. Okay, one way of data. So see the diagram. So this is the diagram. See here, one way. See the arrow marks. So model to view. So model to view. See here, any changes made in the model will reflect in the view. For example, if you made any changes in the model, for example object, then the changes will be reflected in the view, but vice versa is not possible. See here, that is changes made in the view part will not reflect in the model part. So that's why ngbind is called one-way data binding. Okay, the directives that support one-way data binding in AngularJS is ngbind. Okay, see the diagram. So model, view on unidirectional. So there is no arrow mark from view to model. So let's write a program. So I have already written program. See here. So first of all, okay, you have to write a div tag like this. So inside div tag, so my AngularJS application will begins from here. So ng app is the beginning of my AngularJS application. So you have to write your code in this div tag only. Okay, see here, ng app equal to my app and my controller name is my controller. Okay, make sure your controller name is my controller. Okay, then see here h1, or you can use it as p, no problem, whatever you want you can use it. So h1, so I'm trying to display some data using ngbind. So ngbind equal to, I have given some variable name emp name. I have given some variable name emp name. Okay, see here. Now, so this is another way of displaying data. We are using here expressions. See here, double brace stands for expressions. If you give something in double braces, then it will print the value of emp name. Okay, now your task is to create now a module and you have to add controller to the module. See here, I'm going to write all this logic in the script tag. Okay, but make sure AngularJS application is available here only. So this is the view part of your application. Okay, this is the controller part of your application. So see the syntax, where app equal to angular.module. So this is a module and this is a function to create module. So angular.module, and you have to supply this my app here. I'm creating a module named my app, and this my app is dependent on other modules. So at present in my program, any other modules are not present, so I am leaving empty braces like this. Okay, now you have to add this controller to this ng my app module. So see here, app.controller, and this controller will accept two parameters. First one is your controller name and the second one is a function which takes scope object. So using scope object you can access model data, or you can add additional variables to the model data. So in this example, so I have added a variable called emp name. See here, this emp name is a variable and whose value is Rahul. So see here, h1 ngbind equal to emp name means ngbind equal to emp name means Rahul. Okay, Rahul will be printed on the screen. Also see here, I am trying to print uh, using another header h3. See here, hello will be printed as usual and emp name will be Rahul. Okay, let's try to execute this code. So just right click on it, Google Chrome. Yeah, see here, h1 and g bind equal to emp name. That means emp name means here Rahul. So Rahul is printed on the screen. Also I have given another header whose size is h3, and I have given a normal text hello, and I have given some expression. Make sure this is an expression. So whenever you have given some variable in the expression braces, then value will be printed. So emp name is Rahul. So hello Rahul will be printed on the screen. Okay, see here. Now, so make sure you are not allowed to use ngbind with any input controls like text box, etc. because ngbind is a one-way data binding mechanism. One-way data binding mechanism. You just print the data using ngbind. That means you can access the data from model using ngbind and display on the screen. That's it. You cannot change data in the view. Even though you change data in the view, it will not be reflected in the model part of the data. Okay, now we go to another topic, that is, see here, ng model. So ng model means two-way data binding. So two-way data binding, see here, model to view and view to data, bidirectional flow of data. So once see data ng bind, here is a model to view only. Here, see here model to view and view to data. Sorry, model to view and sorry, I have written something wrong here, view to model. Okay, bidirectional flow of data. See here, data available in the model is retrieved by the view. So any changes made in the model data reflects in the view. Okay, up to here ng model and ng bind are same, but additionally in ng model, any changes made in the view will also reflects in the model. That means, so if you made any changes in the front end, that means in the view, the changes will be reflected in the model also. Any changes made in the view, the changes will reflect in the model part also. Okay, so that is the difference between one-way data binding and two-way data binding. And one-way data binding directive is ng bind, and two-way data binding is ng model. So the directive supports two-way data binding Angularjs is ng model. Yeah, see the diagram. So here is a view, and there is a model. See here the arrow marks model to view, view to model. If any changes made in the view, then the changes will be updated in the model. If any changes made in the model, then the changes reflects in the view. Bidirectional. Bidirectional, please observe this, bidirectional. Okay, let's write a program for this. Yeah, as usual I am writing like this. See here, ng app equal to my app, ng controller equal to my controller. So see here, so I can use ng model with any input controls, whereas ng bind, see here I have written a point here. So ng bind cannot be used with any input controls like text boxes or radio buttons. Coming to ng model, we can use ng model with any type of input controls, no issue. Okay, see here, so let's write a program for this. Ng model demo. See here, input type equal to text. That means I'm trying to create a text box, and I am binding this text box with ng model. So I am binding this text box with ng model. So ng model variable name is emp name. Okay, as usual I have given some header, so I'm trying to display this emp name. Okay, this emp name will be supplied by controller. This emp name value will be supplied by controller because controller interacts with model data and retrieves the value of emp name, or controller can create a new variables. Okay, now see here the script tag. So I'm creating a module. Okay, as usual I'm creating a module, then I'm adding controller to the module. See here function dollar scope. So Rahul. So here this meaning is Rahul, and hello Rahul will be printed on the screen. So please observe the change. Ng bind cannot be used with input controls like text boxes, etc. Ng model can be used with input elements like text boxes, etc. So I have binded Ng model with text box. Okay, let's try to execute this code. So Ng model demo. Yeah, see here Rahul. Okay, employee name is Rahul. So Rahul will be binded to text box. See here Rahul is binded to text box. You observe the code here. That means the data which is available in the model. So the data which is available in the model is reflected in view part. Okay, up to here ng model and ng bind both are same, but additionally a new feature call. For example, I don't want Rahul, so let me give some other name like Kumar. See here hello Kumar. Okay, let me refresh it. See here once again I'm explaining. So here emp name is Rahul. So I have binded text box with, so ng bind not sorry. So let me open again ng model demo. Yeah, see here I have binded ng model with text box. So text box binded with ng model. So ng model equal to ename means Rahul. So in the text box you are seeing Rahul name. See here Rahul. So I don't want Rahul, so you can change, no problem. So for example let me give it as Nani. Okay, so Nani, right? Yeah, so please remember once, recall all the points again. So ng bind means one way data binding. Ng model means two-way data binding. Okay, ng bind means model to view flow of data, and ng model means model to view and view to model of data. Okay, next, so ng bind cannot be used with input controls. You can just display only. See here, you see here, just I'm trying to display only. For example, if you want you can put it like P. Let me give it as P. Okay, no issue, but you cannot use ng bind directive with any input controls. Okay, coming to ng model, you can use with input controls. See here, input type equal to text, that means text box. I have binding text box with ng model directive. That means this value will be binded to text box. Okay, so thank you. Okay, you can get this file from my YouTube video under description field. Okay, you can get it from description field in YouTube video. Okay, thank you.